Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mickey in Minutes. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga, and this is the season 7 finale as well as the Christmas episode. I'm so happy and thankful that you guys are joining me this Christmas season. So, I wanted to do something a little differently. I wanted to record this whole episode Mim Monday style, not live in front of an audience, but live here, one take. We're just going to have a conversation. We're going to hang out. I want this to feel like you're sitting here with me. I got my coffee. I got my Christmas tree right here. Of course, my Santa hat on. So if you're watching this video version, welcome to the Mickey and Minutes podcast studio. And if you're listening to this audio, welcome. Also, we're just going to sit here and we're going to talk about some of my Christmas lists. And I'm not talking about my letters to Santa, my wants for the season. I'm talking about some of my top 5 favorite Disney Christmas things. So, everyone likes a top 5 list, a countdown type list, and everyone loves Disney, and hopefully everyone loves Christmas. So, let's get into this. We're going to talk about my top 5 favorite Disney Christmas songs, Disney Christmas shorts, Disney Christmas park experiences, and a little armchair imagineering here, my park attraction overlay wish list. So let's hang out this Christmas season. And yeah, if you have any comments down, let me know down in the comments wherever you're listening. Do you agree with these lists? Is there anything that I missed that really should be on any of these lists? Please let me know, and let's keep this conversation going in the comments. So let's jump right in with my top 5 favorite Disney Christmas songs. If you've been a fan of this show for any amount of time, it is no secret that I am a Jonas Brothers fan, and they just released a very Jonas Christmas movie this year. It's filled with tons of songs, some great Christmas songs, and some, kind of jokey songs. But I'm here for it every step of the way. And to me, the best song in the movie is Coming Home This Christmas featuring Kenny G. This song just I feel like captures the essence of a classic Christmas song. It has that feel, that like bubbly, poppy Christmas excitement feel. And not only that, but it has the legend himself, Kenny G, playing saxophone. If you don't listen to a Kenny G Christmas, what are you doing during the holidays? But having the legend himself not only appear on the song, but appear in the movie, genius move, very Christmas, or should I say, a very Jonas Christmas. So that's my number 5, Jonas Brothers, Coming Home This Christmas. My number 4 is classic from 1992, A Muppet Christmas Carol. And I know there's a lot of songs to choose from this movie, but the one that I had to go with is Feels Like Christmas. Again, this song just I feel like captures the spirit and the essence of not only the movie, but the Christmas season. And I really like that you get to hear it during the stage show at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. It's one of the songs that the characters come out and sing a little bit of. So, I remember watching this movie as a kid, and this song has always been the song from the movie for me. My number 3 is kind of a newer song from 2017, Olaf's Frozen Adventure. The song is When We're Together. Of course, this is the song from like the end of the movie that Anna and Elsa sing to Olaf. And they're just singing about how it's not about the presents, it's about being together for the holidays. And of course, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this song always makes me tear up whenever I watch this movie, ever since it came out in theaters before Coco. It was that short before Coco. Ever since then, I've always cried during this part. And then, of course, hearing this song again at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, they play this song, and it gets me. So beautiful, beautiful song. Taking it back to being together for the holidays. That's kind of a theme here, right? Everyone wants to be together for Christmas, and all these songs kind of have that in common. My number 2 song, old school song from 1997, Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. The song is As Long as There's Christmas. I remember watching this movie every year as a kid, and whenever this song came up, it felt like Christmas time to me. And so many other awesome things come out of this movie for me personally. I love seeing Angelique. She's always been like a really cool character to me. And I remember in 2019, around Christmas time, we were in the parks and we had dinner over at Be Our Guest restaurant, and they had the Christmas tree set up, and they had the Angelique figure on the top of the tree, just like in the movie. And I thought that was such a cool touch. And of course, if you've been to Jollywood Nights, you can see Belle perform this song during the holidays in Hollywood, and that's what it's called, the performance there. And it's just such an amazing moment of that show and an amazing moment in the movie. All right, my number one, my number one Disney Christmas song. I've talked about watching these films from childhood and everything, but this is the one that resonates the most with me in my heart, and that is the song "From All of Us to All of You," from a Jiminy Cricket's Christmas. From Jiminy Cricket's Christmas, 1986. So I know that this is like it's originally from the 1958 Christmas special called From All of Us to All of You. And then it was featured in 1983 on a Disney Channel Christmas. But when I watched it as a kid, it was Jiminy Cricket's Christmas. I have the VHS. But this song, From All of Us to All of You, a very Merry Christmas. That song just, oh my goodness. I hear it and it makes me feel like a kid. This is the one song from this whole list that transports me to childhood the most, and it makes me feel like a little kid sitting in my parents' house, watching this video over and over and over again. And it's the most wonderful song to me. I love the very doo merry dun 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 Christmas. So, you know, all the feels. I watch this every year, sometimes multiple times a year, because even as an adult now, it takes me back. It makes me feel like a kid again. So those are my top 5 favorite Disney Christmas songs. All right, so my next list is my top 5 favorite Disney Christmas shorts, and there are just so many amazing classic ones to choose from. But I'm gonna just go down and just pick some of the ones that are most sentimental to me. So number 5, I'm going with a sort of recent one. This is from 1999's Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, and the short I'm talking about is Donald Duck Stuck on Christmas. This short is so fun. This is the one where you have the nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, wishing that Christmas was every single day. And so every morning they wake up and they repeat Christmas over and over again until they start causing mischief and realizing that Christmas can't be every day, because if it's every day, then it starts losing its specialness. And what makes Christmas so special is that it's once a year. And I like the lesson behind this, but I also just really like this short. It's funny because the my attachment to this short actually started way later in life. When I first got my very own apartment after graduating college, and I was living on my own, I put on Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas on Christmas Eve. I was by myself getting ready to go to my parents' house, and I just sat down and I just watched this short, and then it has become a part of my Christmas Eve ever since then. I tell my wife now that we always have to watch this short on Christmas Eve, and we do. Now, my number 4 is classic 1949 Donald Duck Chip and Dale, and that is Toy Tinkers. So this one has always been so funny to me because I like the battle that goes on between Donald Duck and Chip and Dale, and the way that Donald Duck use the toys because they're about the same size as a toy. And it cracks me up every time. It's hilarious, good fun there. Classic Donald Duck Chip and Dale short. Number 3 for me is one that I mentioned in the song portion of this, and that is Olaf's Frozen Adventure. So it premiered in 2017, before Coco in theaters, and I remember seeing it and just falling in love with it. Of course, obviously I'm a Frozen fan. I mean, who isn't? And this short is just hilarious. Olaf looking for traditions, and just the way the comedy ensues throughout this is just hilarious. And of course, Josh Gad makes the movie so funny. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the heart of that movie, when we're together, that song, it just ties everything together from humor to heart. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful Christmas short. My number two favorite Christmas short is Pluto's Christmas Tree from 1952. I don't think I need to explain this one. I think most people, when you think of Disney Christmas shorts, you probably think of Pluto's Christmas Tree because it is just classic. It's Pluto chasing after Chip and Dale in the tree, and then, Mickey kind of scolding Pluto at the end until he realizes, hey, there's chipmunks. And Pluto's like, thinking, I've been telling you this. It's hilarious. It's one of the best Christmas shorts of all time. But for me, that number one spot has to go to the classic 1983 Mickey's Christmas Carol. I feel like you have to watch this movie every Christmas. At least I do. And as far as like versions of A Christmas Carol, because this story has been told and retold and repackaged, hundreds of times. It feels like this is my personal favorite one. I mean, obviously Mickey Mouse and the whole tie-in to classic Disney characters like that. They have Mr. Toad in there. It's amazing. It's incredible. All these classic characters from Robin Hood, all of that's spectacular. But for me, this one just really embodies the spirit of that story just so well. And, obviously having first watched it as a kid, it was very accessible to me. Even more so than Muppet Christmas Carol. This is the one that really got me to understand and see the story of A Christmas Carol and understand what that story is all about. So, Mickey's Christmas Carol came out in 1983 with a re-release of The Rescuers in theaters. In the United States, it was first aired on television on December 10th, 1984 on NBC. And of course, the original Charles Dickens novella was 1843. So let me know, do you agree with this list? Are there any shorts that I'm missing? Let me know in the comments down below wherever you're listening to this. But those are my top 5 favorite Disney Christmas shorts. So now I'm going to shift gears a little bit. As you know, I'm a parks guy. Mickey and Minutes has always been mostly about the Disney parks. So I had to do a couple of my top 5 lists based on these parks. So what I want to talk about now are my top 5 park experiences. Now, I'm going to be focusing on Disney World because I was going to do a list of like top 5 things I wish I could do that I haven't done yet as far as Disney parks stuff, but it would pretty much just be all Disneyland stuff because I've never been to Disneyland during the holidays. So just get that, I got to do Haunted Mansion holiday, I got to do Small World holiday. I got to get those big candy canes that are so famous over there in Disneyland. So all of those things would be my list of things that I've never done in as far as Christmas Disney park stuff. But I love Disney World during the holidays. So I want to talk about my top 5 favorite Disney World park experiences that are Disney Christmas holiday related. So got to get a sip of my coffee and let's run through this list. That's good stuff. This is from a coffee shop here in San Antonio, and it's their Christmas blend. And of course, I have it in my Mickey Mouse cups because we're just hanging out, we're just doing Christmas together and talking about this our favorite Disney Christmas stuff. So, anyways, Disney park experiences. My number 5 is going to be exploring the gingerbread houses at different resorts around Walt Disney World property. So You probably know that last year was the 25th anniversary of the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian, the one that started it all, the big one. And if you go back and listen to last year's Christmas episode, the Christmas Spectacular, I did a brief history of the gingerbread house over at the Grand Floridian. And they're not doing it this year, so you can't see it this year, but hopefully they bring it back next year. They're not doing it because of the whole lobby refurbishment that they're doing, making that new, the new bar and everything. But it's amazing. But not only over at the Grand Floridian, they've since added gingerbread displays and gingerbread houses all over property. Over at like the Yacht and Beach Club, they have the gingerbread carousel. We went last year and it was all themed to my favorite short, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and it's just amazing. That's a working carousel. Over at the boardwalk, they also have a gingerbread house that looks like the boardwalk bakery and other buildings in the boardwalk, and it's so fun. There's so many of them. Over at Animal Kingdom, they have like animals made of gingerbread, and these are all just amazing, incredible. But of course, the one at the Grand Floridian is a full size gingerbread house, and you could actually buy gingerbread there. They sell the gingerbread shingles and stuff, and it's just so fun. So if you ever get a chance and you're at Walt Disney World during the holidays, go around to different resorts that have these gingerbread displays and check them out. Oh, Contemporary, duh. The Contemporary has one too. It's been Cinderella Castle themed to the Cinderella Castle Dream Lights the last few years. So much to see. So my number five is going around and visiting these gingerbread house displays. My number four is going over to Disney Springs and doing the Christmas tree stroll. This is relatively new, and what's so cool about this is they have a bunch of trees. I think maybe like 19 or 20 trees that are just themed to different Disney IP. And they're not only movies or shorts, sometimes they're even attractions. There's a haunted mansion tree, which is so cool. There's a ton of trees. They kind of change them up a little bit every year, but the one that I really like is the Parks tree. I remember it has like a monorail going around it, and it's just so cool. And of course, they have to make it a game, so you can go over and get a map with a sticker sheet, and whenever you find each of these trees, you put the sticker that matches the tree on the map, and then you redeem it for a button. Of course, I got that button before when we completed it. I remember one year we did it and we forgot to get the button, but last year we made sure to get the button. So it's just such a fun thing to do. Of course, there's no park ticket required to go to Disney Springs. You can just go spend the day there, get a nice Joffrey's seasonal coffee, and walk around. Maybe get a cookie from Gideon's, a holiday cookie from Gideon's, and walk around and explore and check out all these Christmas trees themed to Walt Disney World and to Disney IP. It's just so much fun. So that's my number four. All right, number three. We're gonna start getting into like the park stuff. So my number three is Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade at the Magic Kingdom. Now I was thinking, I figured it would be kind of a cop out to say like, oh, very Merry Christmas party, because that's too broad. So I wanted to narrow this focus a little bit. And if I'm thinking about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, the thing that does it for me the most is the parade. The parade is so amazing. Um, you know, it's kind of gone through some changes over the years. I know they've gotten rid of some of the I don't want to say generic, but some of the classic Christmas songs and put more Disney Christmas songs in there. But I appreciate that. I like that. I mean, it's a Disney parade. You need Disney music. So, and like I went through at the top of this show, there's so many good Disney Christmas songs available. So of course you got to use them. They've also gone in and added some more like winter Christmas costumes for a lot of the characters, but it's just incredible. I mean, I've seen this parade a couple of times and it's a showstopper. Of course, you have the classic elements, the toy soldiers, marching in the parade, and of course Santa Claus and Mickey Mouse, and it's just everything you want out of a Disney Christmas parade. It's it's near perfect as far as Disney and Christmas go. So that's my number three, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade at Magic Kingdom. But of course, there's other things that I just love about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Of course, it's the cookies, um, the free hot cocoa, and eggnog. Which, if you don't know, I think I've said this on the show before. My very first time ever trying eggnog was at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party back in 2019. Before that, the thought of eggnog grossed me out so much that I would never ever try it at any Christmas event or family event. But Disney Magic, being at Magic Kingdom, gave me the courage to try it, and now I love it. So if you don't like eggnog, try it at Disney. You might like it there. All right, my number two. Again, I couldn't be so broad to say Jollywood Nights, so I had to dig a little deeper. Of course, I'm wearing my Jollywood Nights T-shirt right now, 2024. Got Ollie on it. But if I'm thinking about it, what's my favorite thing at Jollywood Nights? That is the Twilight Soiree. So this is just so incredible. This is out in front of the Tower of Terror. There's a band there. They're called Rachel and the Alley Cats, and they perform Christmas standards in this like ghostly uh, ghostly jazz band, I guess you would describe it. And it's just so fun. It feels like, you're transported back to like Hollywood 1939, the Tip Top Club. If you know a little bit about the Hollywood Tower Hotel lore, the Tip Top Club is, the nightclub at the top where they're trying to get to during the attraction. That's where they're going before everything happens. And this just feels like you're stepping back in time into the Tip Top Club. And it's just so incredible. There's like a special bar back there where you can get specialty beverages, alcoholic beverages, and they give you these champagne flutes that say Jollywood Nights, and it's just so amazing. So it was hard to pick my favorite thing about Jollywood Nights because I was thinking about putting Glisten on this list, the ice skating show, because it's so fun and cool. But, if I'm being honest, my favorite thing at Jollywood Nights is the Twilight Soiree with Rachel and the Alley Cats performing these classic Christmas songs. And then they even have like these dancers. They look like ghosts. They have like, they're made up to look like ghosts from back in time, and they're like dancing, and it's just so cool. So I love this so much. All right. So my number one thing over at the Disney parks for Christmas time is something that's very special to me in my heart, and I'm sure is very special to you guys too if you're a fan of Disney and Christmas. And that, of course, is the candlelight processional at Epcot. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So what this is they have celebrity narrators and a choir and an orchestra, and they just tell the real story of Christmas. So they'll actually tell the story of Jesus Christ and his birth, and they deliver it with such beauty, with the music and the choir and the pageantry of it all, with literally the candle lights. And I can't describe how beautiful this is to me. So this started over in Disneyland in 1958, and it started with some local carolers, and it just continued to grow, and they eventually came over to Walt Disney World in 1971 at Magic Kingdom, and then of course Epcot, and that's where it is now. And it's just such an amazing event. If you've never seen this, try to get to Epcot during Christmas time and check out the Candlelight Processional. And the celebrity narrators are always really cool. I saw Neil Patrick Harris deliver the candlelight when I saw it. Deliver the narration for Candlelight when I saw it, and it was so cool. But they've had such amazing celebrity narrators over the year. This year, I've seen online footage of Brendan Fraser, and there's been other people that I really admire and look up to as well. Lauren Daigle's been a part of this. Joel Smallbone for King Country is doing it this year. But I just love that Disney is doing an event that brings the focus back to the real meaning of Christmas, and that is the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I'm just very happy that Disney does that, and it means a lot to me, and it warms my heart to see this over in in Disney World at Epcot. All right, so my last list here, this is my park overlay wish list. So this originally started off as an idea for a whole different episode where I was thinking of, how we could enhance Jollywood Nights. How one thing that Jollywood Nights is missing is ride overlays. In the same way that Magic Kingdom has, a couple ride overlays for their Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. But then I was thinking, this is such a cool list. I don't want to just focus only on Hollywood Studios. There's some other ideas that I have, and then that idea grew into this whole episode of multiple lists. But I have some cool ideas for me. I have some cool ideas for you about some of these overlays. So let's see. Hear me out. I know no one from Disney's listening, but if anyone needs ideas for some overlays in the parks, check these out. So my number 5 idea is they just opened Zootopia Better Zoogether in the Tree of Life Theater. This is a 3D show. I was thinking, what if we do Zootopia Zoogether for the holidays and have it be, I don't know what the story would be, something like, how they celebrate their holidays in Zootopia. And of course, something has to go wrong, and Nick and Judy have to stop some sort of crime. But the whole thing is centered around, I don't know, whatever holidays they celebrate in Zootopia, whatever animal holidays there are. But, I think the title, Zoogether for the Holiday, is just such a cool title. So there we go, Animal Kingdom. That's one for you. Um, my number 4 on this list is Star Tours Life Day Edition. So if you've never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, that whole premise of that movie is they're trying to get to Kashyyyk to celebrate Life Day, which is the Wookiee holiday, what Chewbacca and his family celebrates during the holidays. But imagine a Star Tours ride through where the whole thing is that they're trying to transport passengers over to a Life Day celebration. And, you could have different things go wrong, but, maybe they could have people kind of explain more of what Life Day is. And you get there and you fly over Kashyyyk and you see all the Wookiees in their, like, red bathrobe things holding their, like, little blue orbs, whatever the Life Day stuff is. But I think leaning into Life Day for the holidays could be a really cool overlay, right? Number 3, my number 3 idea for this is another iteration of Soarin', Soarin' over the holidays, right? Or Soarin', at Christmas or whatever you want to call it. But I'm thinking where you fly over different parts of the world and see kind of a bird's eye view of their holidays. I was thinking, you can fly over like New York City, Rockefeller Center, and see, the Christmas tree, and see the the big towers all lit up, and you could fly over different parts of the world and see the different festivals and the way that they celebrate the holidays. I think that could be a cool thing, and it ties into World Showcase. So that's a cool idea. I haven't really flushed out these ideas, but these are just, you know, kind of blue sky ideas. So there we go. Soarin' over the holidays. My number 2 idea is going back to Hollywood Studios, because again, that's where this idea came from. And that's going to be an overlay of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And I'm thinking it could be called Mickey and Minnie's Christmas Catastrophe. And so I'm thinking, maybe Mickey and Minnie are on their way to some sort of Christmas party when this whole thing goes awry. Maybe instead of a pie getting stuck in the engine of the train, maybe it's like a fruitcake or something. And they could rework the scenes to be like, I don't know, Christmassy. Have different Christmas scenes with like snow and Santa Claus and all the characters, in Christmas outfits. I mean, it's mostly projections anyway, so it should be a pretty easy overlay to do. But there you go, Mickey and Minnie's Christmas Catastrophe. My last idea here is one that I think would be fun. I think it kind of writes itself, and that's an overlay of Rock and Roller Coaster. I know they're changing Rock and Roller Coaster right now to be starring the Muppets. So I'll lean into that a little bit with this, but I'm thinking Jingle Bell Rockin' Roller Coaster. So, like, Jingle Bell Rock, but Jingle Bell Rockin' Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. And it could just be, the Muppets singing Christmas songs during the during the attraction, and keep it upbeat, keep it fun, Jingle Bell Rock, rocking around the Christmas tree, that kind of stuff, with the Muppets humor and the Muppets singing these songs. So I think that would be really fun, right? So I think Hollywood Studios needs some ride overlays for the Christmas season. I think that would make Jollywood Nights even cooler, even though Jollywood Nights is still my favorite Christmas event over at Walt Disney World. But you know, overlay. We need overlays. I know at Magic Kingdom, we have the Space Mountain with like Trans Siberian Orchestra and lasers, and it's just so cool. I don't know if it's really Trans Siberian Orchestra, but it's like heavy rock Christmas music. They have that. They have the Jingle Cruise and stuff like that. So Hollywood Studios needs some love, and then Epcot, we can do Soarin', and we could do Zootopia for Animal Kingdom. So everyone gets a little bit of that Christmas overlay love. So those are my ideas, guys. What do you guys think of these overlay ideas or any of my other lists? Please let me know in the comments wherever you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or if you're watching this video playback on YouTube. And I just want to wish you a very Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart, from Mickey and Minutes. On behalf of me, on behalf of my wife Chelsea, we're wishing you guys a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for supporting the Mickey and Minutes podcast. I hope that it's brought you joy these last 7 years. This is the season 7 finale. So I hope that we've brought you smiles and joy and Disney Disney feels and Christmas magic and all that stuff. So cheers to you guys. Merry Christmas, and we will see you next season, season 8, for tons more Mickey and Minutes live on Mondays. That's coming back in January. Tons of new episodes. Lots of fun in store for you guys. So thanks again for tuning in. And please, if you like this, tell your fellow Disney friends about the Mickey and Minutes podcast. And let's continue to build up this community. So again, you guys are awesome. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga. Merry Christmas. Thanks for listening to the Mickey and Minutes podcast. I'll see you next time. Bye.